Every 40 seconds, someone suffers a stroke caused by a blood clot, but what most people don't know is, some of the most common fruits sitting in your local grocery store can naturally help prevent that from happening, and one of them. You might be skipping every morning, you may feel healthy today, but right now, somewhere in your body, a silent blood clot could be waiting to strike. If you're over 60, just one simple fruit a day could reduce your risk of stroke by up to 75%. So why hasn't anyone told you this? I once treated a 63-year-old patient named Robert. He came into the ER late at night with severe chest pain. At first, he thought it was just heartburn, but no, it was a heart attack. Caused by a blood clot that had been quietly building for years. You see, blood clots don't cause pain, they don't cause fever, you don't feel them coming, but when they strike, they can take everything away. Brain blood clots, the silent bomb inside you. Blood clots, or thrombi, are the body's natural response to injury, meant to stop bleeding, but when they form in the wrong place, or at the wrong time, they become a biological time bomb. A clot can block a coronary artery heart attack, block blood flow to the brain stroke, travel to the lungs pulmonary embolism, often fatal. The worst part, 80% of clots show no warning signs, they strike without mercy, like a bolt of lightning. Light bulb. But here's the good news, your body is designed to dissolve clots, using an enzyme called plasmin, but as we age, or if we suffer from chronic inflammation, high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, or a poor diet, that natural clot dissolving ability weakens, slowly, silently. What most doctors don't have time to tell you is, there are certain fruits, yes, fruits, that, when eaten the right way, can. White heavy checkmark reduce inflammation, white heavy checkmark boost natural clot dissolving enzymes, white heavy checkmark lower blood pressure and thin the blood. White heavy checkmark, and most importantly, protect your circulatory system in a safe, natural way. Television. In today's video, I, a doctor with over 30 years of experience treating heart disease and vascular conditions, will walk you through the 7 best fruits to naturally dissolve blood clots. Along the way, I'll share scientific studies, the right way to eat each fruit, and real-life stories of patients who transformed their lives. Just by adding one fruit a day, you don't need to change everything, just change one fruit, because sometimes, the difference between life and tragedy lies in the simplest choice. Loudspeaker. And stay with me until the end, because fruit number 4, according to European research, could reduce blood clot risk by up to 75% in just 2 weeks. Source: European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2006. Now that you understand why blood clots are the silent killer, let me introduce you to the first warrior in our fight for clean, flowing arteries. Backhand index pointing right. If you approve this tone and style, I'll continue with part 2, pineapple, the natural clot dissolving warrior. Pineapple, the natural blood clot destroyer. I couldn't believe a fruit like pineapple could make me feel this good again. That was the first thing James Thompson, 63 years old, told me after just 2 months of changing his diet based on my advice. James used to be a long-haul truck driver. He sat for long hours, rarely exercised, and had a long history of high blood pressure. After a near-miss mini-stroke, TIA, he was diagnosed with a high risk of developing blood clots in his legs. Instead of rushing into medication, we started with lifestyle changes and targeted foods that support circulation. One of the first foods I told him to eat every day: fresh pineapple. Pineapple is more than just a tropical treat, it's nature's enzyme-packed anti-clot therapy. What makes pineapple so powerful is an enzyme called bromelain, a natural compound that can break down fibrin, the main protein that forms clots, reduce platelet stickiness, which helps prevent new clots from forming, calm inflammation in blood vessels, allowing smoother blood flow. A 2012 study in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences found that bromelain inhibits platelet aggregation, promotes fibrin breakdown, keeps blood flowing freely. Another study in Planta Medica, 2005, confirmed Bromelain works similarly to a mild blood thinner, but without the side effect of prolonged bleeding. In simple terms, how does pineapple soften blood clots? Imagine fibrin as a type of biological glue that holds blood cells together into a clot. Bromelain acts like a pair of molecular scissors, cutting through those fibrin strands, loosening the clot, and allowing your body to safely flush it away. On top of that, bromelain reduces inflammation along your vessel walls, the very place where most clots start forming. Man health worker, I've seen this work in real patients, and James was one of them. After eating pineapple every morning, about 3.5 ounces or 100 g with the core, here's what happened over 2 months. The swelling in his legs went down, his D-dimer levels, a key blood clot marker, returned to the safe range. Most of all, the heavy, aching feeling in his legs disappeared. Fork and knife with plate. How to eat pineapple for maximum benefit. White heavy checkmark, eat it raw and fresh. Heat destroys bromelain. White heavy checkmark, don't throw away the core, it has the highest concentration of the enzyme. White heavy checkmark, eat it on an empty stomach in the morning. Bromelain absorbs better this way. White heavy checkmark, combine it with fresh turmeric and black pepper to boost anti-inflammatory effects and absorption. Pushpin caution, if you're on prescription blood thinners, like warfarin, consult your doctor before consuming large amounts of pineapple. Bar chart, why does pineapple deserve the #1 spot on this list? Benefit mechanism, breaks down fibrin bromelain enzyme, prevents clot formation, reduces platelet stickiness, reduces inflammation, calms blood vessels. Tasty, affordable, and accessible, easy to make into a daily habit. Pineapple, this sweet tropical fruit, may be the simplest way for anyone over 60 to support a healthier, more fluid circulatory system. Books cited research for this segment: Maurer H.R., Bromelain, Biochemistry, Pharmacology and Medical Use. Cell Mo Life Sci, 2001, Pavan R. Jane S., Shraddha, Kumar. Properties and Therapeutic Application of Bromelain, a Review. Biotechnol Residential Int., 2012, Tausig S.J. The Mechanism of the Physiological Action of Bromelain. Planta Medica. 2005, Yellow Circle. Coming up next, if pineapple is nature's biological scissors, the next fruit is like a crimson elixir, gently softening hardened arteries and helping to melt plaque from the inside out. Shall we move on to translate part 3, pomegranate, the ruby red drink that naturally clears arteries. Pomegranate, the bright red juice that naturally clears your arteries. I used to feel like my heart was quietly wilting. Each step, each heartbeat felt like it carried the weight of old age. That was how Margaret Walker, 68, from Oregon, described her daily struggle, until something simple changed her life. She started drinking a glass of pomegranate juice every day. Margaret had a long history of high blood pressure and elevated cholesterol. Her systolic readings often spiked above 160 millimeters of mercury. She confessed that every checkup made her anxious. She'd lost faith in her heart. During a consultation, I asked her, "Margaret, have you ever tried pomegranate?" She smiled and said, "Oh doctor, I only see those around the holidays. They look fancy, but I never thought they'd help my heart." And that's when her journey to recovery quietly began. Pomegranate has been used for thousands of years in ancient medicine across Persia, India, and Greece to purify the blood and support the heart. But now, modern science is finally catching up, and the evidence is remarkable. Here's what makes pomegranate stand out: it's packed with powerful antioxidants like punicalagin, ellagic acid, and anthocyanins. It boosts nitric oxide production, which naturally relaxes and widens blood vessels. It reduces arterial plaque and prevents LDL oxidation, two major triggers for clot formation. One groundbreaking study published in Atherosclerosis, 2004, found that people who drank 8 ounces of pomegranate juice daily for just 3 months saw a 35% reduction in arterial plaque thickness, improved blood flow to the heart, a significant drop in oxidative stress levels. Another meta-analysis in Clinical Nutrition, 2012, confirmed. Pomegranate juice helped lower systolic blood pressure by 5 to 7% and increased nitric oxide levels, improving vessel flexibility and reducing clot risk. A simple fruit with complex protection, nitric oxide, NO, acts like a natural vessel relaxer. When levels go up, your arteries widen gently, easing blood flow and preventing clots. Punicalagin serves as a bodyguard for your arteries. It shields LDL, bad cholesterol, from oxidative damage, reducing plaque buildup. And when those hardened plaques soften and shrink, your blood flows smoother, your heart works less, and your risk of stroke or heart attack drops dramatically. What happened to Margaret? After 10 weeks of daily pomegranate, her blood pressure dropped to 138/85 mmHg. A Doppler scan showed an 18% improvement in carotid artery blood flow, and perhaps most important. She told me her chest felt lighter, stairs weren't exhausting anymore, and she felt like she had her energy back. She said with a smile, "I never thought I'd find heart medicine inside such a beautiful red fruit." Tropical drink. How to use pomegranate effectively. White heavy checkmark. Drink 5 to 8 ounces, 150 to 240 milliliters, of unsweetened, pure pomegranate juice daily. White heavy checkmark. Eat the whole arils, including the white pith. That's where the punicalagin lives. White heavy checkmark. Pair with black pepper, piperine, to boost antioxidant absorption. White heavy checkmark. Best taken in the morning or mid-afternoon for optimal nutrient uptake. Pushpin note: if you're on statins or blood pressure medication, check with your doctor before adding large amounts. Pushpin. Why pomegranate is a red guardian for your heart. Benefit. How it works: reduces arterial plaque thanks to punicalagin and ellagic acid, lowers blood pressure via increased nitric oxide, prevents LDL oxidation, fewer clots, less inflammation, improves blood flow to heart, smoother circulation, better heart performance. Red circle. Pomegranate isn't just a holiday decoration, it's a silent warrior, cleansing your arteries, protecting your heart, and doing it all without the side effects of heavy medication. Books. Research sources cited in this section: Aviram M., Dornfeld L., et al. Atherosclerosis, 2004, Sahebker A., Ferry C., Georgiani P., Clinical Nutrition, 2012, Kaplan M., Hayek T., Raz A., et al. Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry, 2001. Now, if pineapple was nature's scalpel against clots, then this bright red juice is like a warm balm, softening blood vessels from the inside, and within just a few weeks, even hardened plaque begins to melt away. Kiwi, the tiny green fruit that melts blood clots from within. Honestly, I used to ignore kiwi. It looked small, a little sour, and just didn't seem like a big deal. But doctor, since I started eating it, I sleep better, my legs don't swell, and that heavy, tight feeling is gone. Those were the heartfelt words from Richard Collins, age 70, from Colorado. Richard had been struggling with poor blood circulation in his legs, and tests showed he was in a prethrombotic state, where clot formation was dangerously close. Every day, he felt numbness, cold feet, fatigue with walking. Even for just a few minutes, his blood viscosity was high. His platelets were sticky. That's a perfect storm for blood clots. So instead of reaching straight for medication, I offered him a natural approach. Start your mornings with 2 kiwis, on an empty stomach. Kiwi fruit. Kiwi, small in size, huge in heart health. The secret lies in an enzyme called actinidin. It's a natural protein-dissolving enzyme, similar to bromelain, in pineapple, and papain, in papaya. Actinidin can break down fibrin, the protein that forms the mesh of blood clots, lower blood viscosity, helping blood flow more freely, reduce fibrinogen, a protein that predicts clot risk. But that's not all. Kiwi is also packed with vitamin C, strengthens blood vessels against oxidative damage. Soluble fiber, helps lower LDL cholesterol. Potassium, supports healthy blood pressure. Polyphenol, reduce inflammation in vessel walls. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry, 2004, showed that adults who ate 2 kiwis per day for 28 days experienced an 18% reduction in blood viscosity, lower platelet aggregation, improved circulation to the extremities. Another clinical trial from Oslo University Hospital, 2006, found daily kiwi consumption reduced triglycerides and prevented platelets from clumping. Together, both major contributors to clot formation. Brain. How does kiwi cut through blood clots? Think of fibrin like a sticky spiderweb that traps red blood cells and platelets to form clots. Actinitin works like biological scissors, snipping that web apart and letting blood flow freely again. Meanwhile, kiwi's antioxidants and potassium help relax blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and support smooth circulation. Man health worker. And what happened to Richard? After just 4 weeks of adding kiwi to his mornings, his leg numbness disappeared, his blood pressure stabilized, and most touching of all, he told me, for the first time in years, I feel like my blood is moving peacefully. Follow-up tests showed fibrinogen levels dropped by nearly 12%. Blood pressure decreased by 8 to 10 millimeters of mercury, D-dimer remained within safe levels, and he no longer needed pain relief just to walk. Fork and knife with plate. How to eat kiwi for maximum circulatory benefits. White heavy checkmark. Eat 2 green or gold kiwis first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. White heavy checkmark. Chew the seeds thoroughly. Actinitin begins activating right in your mouth. White heavy checkmark. Pair with soaked chia seeds for extravascular cleansing power. White heavy checkmark. Can't handle raw kiwi. Blend into a smoothie with a slice of lemon for flavor and absorption boost. Pushpin note: some people may have mild kiwi allergies. If you've never eaten it before, start with a small amount. Pushpin: why kiwi deserves a spot in your daily routine. Benefit. How it works: lowers blood thickness thanks to actinitin enzyme, reduces fibrinogen, less chance for clots to form, cuts triglycerides, improves cholesterol profile, relaxes blood vessels via polyphenol potassium. Kiwi might be small, but for your blood vessels, it's like a silent gatekeeper, keeping dangerous clots from ever forming and letting your life flow on without interruption. Books. Research sources cited in this section: Dutteroy A.K., Jorgensen A., Effects of Kiwi Fruit Consumption on Platelet Aggregation and Plasma Lipids. Platelets, 2004, Oslo University Hospital. Kiwi fruit helps the heart by thinning the blood, 2006, Stonehouse W., Gammon C.S., et al. Golden kiwi fruit reduces oxidative DNA damage and improves lipids. J. Nutribiochem, 2013, if pomegranate is the warm balm for your arteries, then kiwi is the green scalpel, sharp, natural, and quietly effective. Purple grapes, the mighty guardian hiding in the skin. I used to think red wine was the only way to protect the heart, but my doctor showed me something simpler: just eat purple grapes, every morning. That's what Charles Morgan, 66 years old and retired in Virginia, told me when we met. He had a history of high blood pressure and early-stage atherosclerosis. He described his symptoms clearly: I get dizzy when I stand. My heart races after just a brisk walk. I know my circulation's not right, but I don't want to live on pills. So we made a simple plan, starting with just a handful of purple grapes every morning, skin and seeds included. Purple grapes, a familiar fruit with extraordinary clot-busting power. Most people see grapes as a sweet snack, but purple grapes, especially the dark, seeded kind, are loaded with resveratrol, one of nature's most powerful antioxidants. You'll find its greatest strength not in the flesh, but in the skin and seeds. What's inside grapes? Resveratrol inhibits platelets from clumping and protects blood vessel walls. Flavonoids: quercetin, relax arteries, reduce inflammation. Polyphenol, prevent LDL oxidation and atherosclerotic plaque buildup, a breakthrough. Study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2006, revealed that people who drank purple grape juice daily for just 14 days showed 75% reduction in platelet aggregation, increased blood flow to the heart and brain, slight but steady decrease in blood pressure, and according to a review by the American Heart Association, 2013, resveratrol helps reduce inflammation in the vessel lining, softens arterial walls, and stops blood clots from forming or traveling through the body. Brain. How does resveratrol protect your heart? It blocks platelets from sticking together, so clots don't form. It dilates blood vessels slightly, easing blood flow. It protects LDL cholesterol from oxidation, stopping plaque buildup. And uniquely, it doesn't just prevent new clots, it stabilizes existing plaques, lowering the risk of sudden rupture. Man health worker. And what happened to Amar Charles? After just 3 weeks of eating one small bunch of purple grapes each morning, his dizziness improved, his heart rate became more stable, morning blood pressure dropped from 148/90 to 132/84. A follow-up test showed CRPHS, an inflammation marker, had dropped by nearly 20%. He smiled at me and said, "Doc, I drank wine for decades, thinking I was helping my heart. Turns out, eating grapes is even better." Fork and knife with plate. How to eat purple grapes for maximum heart benefits. White heavy checkmark. Choose dark purple or red grapes with seeds, the darker the better. White heavy checkmark. Eat the skins, and chew or swallow the seeds for added resveratrol. White heavy checkmark. Rinse thoroughly or soak in salt water to remove pesticide residues. White heavy checkmark. Try freezing them as a healthy snack, delicious and antioxidant packed. White heavy checkmark. Pair with Greek yogurt or a few walnuts. Healthy fats enhance flavonoid absorption. Pushpin note: if you're on blood thinners, monitor your blood levels when eating grapes regularly. Pushpin: why purple grapes deserve a spot in your daily routine. Benefit mechanism: reduces platelet clumping. Resveratrol blocks aggregation, protects against LDL damage. Polyphenol flavonoids, improves vessel flexibility. Quercetin: nitric oxide release, supports blood pressure. Mild vasodilation and anti-inflammatory action. Purple grapes aren't just a sweet treat, they are the silent gatekeepers of your circulatory system, guarding your arteries, keeping blood flowing, and doing it all with gentle, natural grace. Books. Scientific sources referenced in this section: Friedman J.E., Parker C. et al. Select flavonoids in grape juice inhibit platelet function. J. Neutre. 2001, Renaud S., Delordrel M., Wine, Alcohol, and the French Paradox. Lancet. 1992, European Journal of Clinical Nutrition. Grape juice vascular health. 2006, American Heart Association. Flavonoids and cardiovascular protection. 2013. If kiwi is the green scalpel, then purple grapes are the velvet gloves, gently protecting your heart every day. Strawberries, sweet on the outside, powerful on the inside. I used to think strawberries were just a cute dessert, but now, I see them as my daily dose of medicine, without the prescription. That's what Linda Thompson, 65, a cheerful woman from Florida, told me after we started a small morning habit together, just 6 strawberries a day. Linda had been living with silent fear ever since her sister suffered a sudden stroke at age 58. When Linda came to see me, her lab results were concerning: elevated blood fats, high CRPHS levels, a sign of chronic inflammation in her blood vessels. But instead of overwhelming her with medications, I offered her something simple: Linda, starting tomorrow, I want you to add 6 fresh strawberries to your breakfast every day. Strawberries, small fruit, big heart protection. What gives strawberries their bright red color is also what gives them power: anthocyanins. These natural plant pigments fight inflammation, relax blood vessels, prevent blood clots from forming. Strawberries also contain vitamin C, strengthens vessel walls. Pectin, a type of fiber, helps lower LDL cholesterol. Quercetin, antioxidant that protects against vessel damage. Potassium, helps regulate blood pressure, in a landmark study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, 2013, involving over 93,000 women over 18 years, those who ate strawberries and blueberries 3 times per week had a 32% lower risk of stroke than those who rarely ate them. Why? Because anthocyanins reduce arterial stiffness and improve circulation. Another study in Nutrition Journal, 2011, showed that after 8 weeks of daily strawberry intake, participants experienced lower CRP levels. Inflammation marker, reduced LDL cholesterol, bad cholesterol, 2 key drivers of plaque buildup and clot formation. How do strawberries protect your blood vessels? Anthocyanins boost nitric oxide relaxes arteries, they inhibit platelet clumping prevents clot formation, quercetin antioxidants protect vessel linings from damage, together, they act like a soft armor for your circulatory system, shielding it from the inside out. Woman health worker. And what about Linda? After just 6 weeks of eating strawberries every morning, her CRP levels dropped by 30%. Her LDL cholesterol came down steadily, the foggy headaches and dizziness she once felt gone, blood pressure settled at a healthy 125/82 mmHg, most importantly, the weight of fear lifted from her heart. She told me, "Doctor, eating strawberries in the morning has become a little ritual. It's like I'm saying thank you to my heart." Fork and knife with plate. How to enjoy strawberries for vascular health. White heavy checkmark. Eat them fresh and raw, no added sugar, no cooking. White heavy checkmark. 5 to 8 berries per day is enough to provide protective anthocyanins. White heavy checkmark. Best consumed in the morning or with a light lunch, boosts antioxidant absorption. White heavy checkmark. Combine with iced green tea. Catechins. Anthocyanins work together to strengthen your blood vessels. Pushpin note, strawberries often rank high for pesticide residues. Always wash thoroughly or buy organic when possible. Memo: why strawberries deserve a place in your heart and your breakfast. Benefit mechanism, reduces clot risk. Anthocyanins quercetin prevent platelet stickiness. Relaxes arteries. Boosts nitric oxide, lowers LDL cholesterol thanks to pectin-soluble fiber, decreases stroke risk. Improves blood flow to the brain. Strawberries aren't just sweet, they're smart, they bring joy to your taste buds and protection to your blood vessels. For older adults, they're not just dessert, they're daily defense. Books. Scientific references for this section: Cassidy A., Rim E. B., O'Reilly E. J., et al. Dietary flavonoid intake and risk of stroke in women. A.M.J. Clin Neutre. 2013, Basu A., Roan M., Lyons T.J. Berries and cardiovascular health. Nutrition reviews. 2010, Zunino S.J., Perelman M., et al. Strawberry intake and cardiovascular disease risk markers. Nutrition Journal. 2011, if grapes are the guardians of your heart, then strawberries are its gentle healers, sweet, silent, and strong. Papaya, the quiet blood-cleansing powerhouse hiding in plain sight. Back when I was younger, I thought papaya was just good for digestion. I never imagined that in my older years, it would help save my heart and my legs. That's what Mr. Robert Davis, 69, a retired schoolteacher from Texas, told me with a grateful smile. He had been struggling with swelling in his legs, aching pain, and high fibrin levels, a warning sign that his blood was becoming dangerously thick. His blood tests revealed elevated triglycerides and signs of a clotting tendency. He told me, "Doc, I don't want to rely on blood thinners for the rest of my life, but I'm afraid of having a stroke," I replied gently. "Let's start with something simple. Just 1 plate of ripe papaya each morning. This isn't magic, it's science. The science of an enzyme called papain, papaya, a humble tropical fruit with powerful clot-dissolving properties. The true hero inside papaya is papain, a natural proteolytic enzyme, very similar to bromelain in pineapple or actinidin in kiwi. Papain works in several ways: breaks down fibrin, the structural protein that forms dangerous blood clots, reduces inflammation in blood vessels, lowering platelet stickiness, lowers blood fat, especially triglycerides, a key trigger for clot formation. Papaya is also rich in vitamin C and beta-carotene, potent antioxidants. Soluble fiber, which helps lower bad cholesterol, mild diuretic properties, which ease blood pressure on the vessels. A 2003 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that regular papaya consumption lowered triglycerides and reduced inflammation in the circulatory system in people with cardiovascular risk. Another study from the Department of Biochemistry in India, 2011, discovered that papain breaks down fibrin and inhibits platelet aggregation, working similarly to a low-dose aspirin, but without the bleeding side effects. How does papain quietly break down clots? Imagine fibrin like a rope tying together platelets to form a clot. Papain acts like a biological scissors, safely cutting through that rope. At the same time, it soothes inflamed blood vessel linings, reducing the chance of new clots forming, and with its mild diuretic effect, it helps lower fluid retention, relieving pressure on your circulatory system. Summary: why papaya deserves its place as a natural blood purifier. Benefit mechanism: breaks down fibrin, dissolves clots thanks to papain enzyme, lowers triglycerides, reduces a key clotting risk, reduces vascular inflammation with beta-carotene, vitamin C, lowers circulatory pressure, mild natural diuretic effect. Papaya isn't flashy. It isn't expensive. But it quietly protects your bloodstream like a trusted old friend, cleansing, softening, and keeping your life force flowing. Books. Scientific references: Srivastava R. Singh R. Fibrinolytic and antiplatelet activity of papain. Indian J. Biochem Biophys. 2011, Zunino S.J. Fruit and vegetable intake and prevention of cardiovascular disease in older adults. AMJ Clin Neutre. 2003, Castro I.A., Rogero M. et al. Dietary bioactive compounds and cardiovascular inflammation. Nutrition Reviews. 2009, and Mr. Robert. What happened after 30 days? The swelling in his legs vanished, triglycerides dropped from 220 mg per deciliter to 160 mg per deciliter, D-dimer, a clotting marker, returned to safe levels. He was able to walk an hour every morning without leg pain. After his follow-up appointment, he told me, "Thank you, doctor. I feel like I've turned back the clock 20 years, all because of one plate of papaya a day." How to eat papaya for optimal circulatory support. White heavy checkmark: choose naturally ripe papaya. Papain is most active when the fruit is just ripe. White heavy checkmark: eat it in the morning or early afternoon. Enzymes absorb best when the stomach isn't full. White heavy checkmark: pair with fresh ginger, adds anti-inflammatory and circulation boosting effects. White heavy checkmark: avoid eating it right after large meals. Stomach acid can destroy the enzyme. Pushpin note: people with latex allergies or sensitive digestive systems should try a small amount first. Memo summary: why papaya deserves its place as a natural blood purifier. Benefit mechanism: breaks down fibrin, dissolves clots thanks to papain enzyme, lowers triglycerides, reduces a key clotting risk, reduces vascular inflammation with beta-carotene, vitamin C, lowers circulatory pressure, mild natural diuretic effect. Papaya isn't flashy. It isn't expensive. But it quietly protects your bloodstream like a trusted old friend, cleansing, softening, and keeping your life force flowing. Books. Scientific references: Srivastava R. Singh R. Fibrinolytic and antiplatelet activity of papain. Indian J. Biochem Biophys. 2011, Zunino S.J. Fruit and vegetable intake and prevention of cardiovascular disease in older adults. AMJ Clin Neutre. 2003, Castro I.A., Rogero M. et al. Dietary bioactive compounds and cardiovascular inflammation. Nutrition Reviews. 2009. Watermelon, the summer doctor disguised as a juicy fruit. I used to think watermelon was just a refreshing summer treat. Turns out, It also refreshes my blood vessels and soothes my heart. That's what Mrs. Helen Moore, 71, from Arizona told me one morning. She had been living with thick blood, elevated blood pressure, and the unpleasant feeling of heaviness in her head and numbness in her hands every morning. When I reviewed her test results, here's what I found: high blood viscosity, elevated CRPHS levels, a marker of vascular inflammation, blood pressure that consistently hovered around 145/90 mmHg. I asked gently, "Do you enjoy watermelon, Helen?" She smiled. "I could eat half a melon in one sitting during summer." I replied, "Perfect. From now on, let watermelon be your year-round friend, not just a summer snack." Watermelon, liquid life for your blood vessels. Yes, watermelon is made up of 92% water, which naturally helps lower blood viscosity. But what truly makes watermelon a circulatory superfood lies in its compounds: citrulline, a natural amino acid that converts into nitric oxide, NO, in the body, which relaxes and dilates blood vessels, lowers vascular pressure, reduces clot formation; lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that reduces vascular inflammation; potassium, magnesium, essential minerals that help regulate blood pressure and stabilize blood flow. A study from Florida State University, 2011. Published in the American Journal of Hypertension, found that eating 4 to 6 slices of watermelon daily for 6 weeks led to a 9 to 13 mm of mercury drop in systolic blood pressure, noticeable improvement in arterial flexibility. Another study in Nutrition Research, 2014, showed that lycopene in watermelon significantly reduced CRP, inflammation marker, triglycerides, a major risk factor for blood clotting. How does watermelon cool down your circulatory system? When citrulline becomes nitric oxide, blood vessels gently widen, improving blood flow and easing pressure, so clots are less likely to form. Its high water content naturally thins the blood, reducing viscosity without medication. Lycopene and potassium protect vessel walls from inflammation, which is the root cause of clot formation. And Mrs. Helen, what changed after 30 days? Her blood pressure came down to 132/84 mmHg, morning numbness and lightheadedness disappeared, CRPHS dropped by nearly 25%, she slept better, felt lighter, and more refreshed each day. With a big smile, she told me, "I never imagined something this sweet could be so good for my heart. Every bite feels like my blood vessels are smiling." Fork and knife with plate. How to eat watermelon for heart and circulation benefits. White heavy checkmark: eat 4 to 6 thin slices daily, about 300-400 g, preferably in the morning or early afternoon. White heavy checkmark: eat it slightly chilled, not ice cold, to avoid sudden vessel constriction. White heavy checkmark: include the seeds, lightly toasted or blended, they're rich in magnesium and arginine. White heavy checkmark: if juicing, keep the pulp and the pale rind near the skin, that's where citrulline is concentrated. Pushpin note: if you have diabetes, eat in moderation. Avoid eating watermelon late at night or in large portions all at once. Summary: watermelon, the hydrating heart hero. Benefit mechanism: natural vasodilation. Citrulline nitric oxide, thins blood naturally. High water content. Potassium, reduces vessel inflammation. Lycopene, antioxidants, lowers blood pressure. Magnesium, improved vascular tone. Watermelon doesn't just cool your body on a hot day. It cools the silent heat building inside your blood vessels, reducing inflammation, easing pressure, and restoring balance to your circulation. Books. Scientific references: Figueroa A. et al. Effects of watermelon supplementation on aortic blood pressure and wave reflection in individuals with prehypertension. AMJ Hypertens. 2011, Perkins VZP, Collins J.K. Fruits with high lycopene content: watermelon, tomato, and pink grapefruit. Nutrition Research. 2014, Collins J.K., Wu G., Perkins VZP. Watermelon consumption improves blood lipid profile and reduces inflammation in prehypertensive adults. J. Nutribiochem. 2015. Every heartbeat you feel is a quiet reminder you still have the chance to change, you still have time, and sometimes, that change doesn't come from a hospital or a prescription bottle, it starts with something as simple as a piece of fruit on your breakfast plate. I've spent more than 30 years working with patients battling heart disease, blood clots, and stroke. Some came too late, after a clot had blocked the lungs, damaged the brain, or robbed a life. But then there were others: James, Margaret, Charles, Linda, Robert, Helen, ordinary people, who chose to protect their blood vessels each day, not through fear, but through a quiet, consistent act of care. What you've just watched isn't a list of 7 fruits, it's a list of 7 natural shields that help white heavy checkmark break down dangerous blood clots. With powerful plant enzymes, white heavy checkmark dilate blood vessels. By boosting nitric oxide, white heavy checkmark reduce blood thickness and prevent platelet clumping. White heavy checkmark soothe inflammation and slow aging inside your arteries. But the most important lesson is this: don't wait for a symptom to start caring about your circulation, because by the time a clot announces itself, it's often too late. Your circulatory system is the quietest system in your body. It doesn't scream. It doesn't ache, but when it breaks, the cost is stroke, heart attack, pulmonary embolism. Sometimes it costs everything, so what can you do? Make each meal an act of love for yourself. Add a slice of pineapple in the morning, a glass of pomegranate juice at lunch, a couple of kiwis before your walk, a handful of grapes in the afternoon. These may cost you very little, but they could save you a lifetime. Eat as though you're healing, live as though you're grateful for every blood vessel that silently keeps you alive. You see, vascular health isn't distant or complicated. Sometimes it's just a matter of choosing the right fruit, at the right time, and rewriting the destiny of your heart. Today, you could choose to scroll past, or you could choose one small habit that might just be the reason you're here, stronger, fuller, and alive, many years from now. If this video sparked something in you, whether a shift in perspective, or just a smile at a familiar fruit, red heart tap like so YouTube knows you care about natural health. Speech balloon, leave a comment: which fruit will I start with today? Bell subscribe so you never miss another heart-centered health video. You deserve a healthy, thriving circulatory system, because that is the foundation of every beautiful thing still ahead. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. Stay long, stay strong, and live every day fully. Beating heart.